Hi, this is Shauna, and I want to welcome you to Living in This Space. Real talk, because hey, we're all just living in this space we call life, right? It's messy, it's hard, and sometimes it's the most joyous thing we can experience. I want you, my listener, to have a place where the conversation is real and honest. I hope we can spend this time together, validating, sharing, and experiencing all the feels together with whatever topic is on the agenda for the day. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome back. Wow, it feels like we haven't been together in so long because I missed last week. My husband and I made a trip to Mexico to see our son and his new wife. And I could literally spend an hour telling you about how much fun we had and how I fell in love with Puerto Vallarta. I have to admit, I had a lot of apprehension at first when planning the trip because of all the logistics of traveling to another country. And some of you have been in that boat before. You've traveled outside the country and, there's so many things you have to have all lined up before you make a trip like that. But I want to say we had the most amazing time. And I felt like I experienced this general friendliness that made me feel so welcomed in that country. When we first came back to the United States, I actually found myself starting to say hola to everyone I made contact with. Because while in Mexico, that was the norm. Everywhere you went, you were greeted. Everywhere you went, someone said hello to you. And it just felt like you were always being engaged in some way. And that feels good. And that's what prompted me to want to talk to you today about smiling and greeting others. So, just a little bit about me. I'm the kind of person that will talk to anyone. And somehow I got out of the habit of doing that over the last couple of years. My family has always teased me and said, Mom, you can talk to a rock. And yes, I have always loved to engage with other people, so I can talk to just about anybody. But sadly, I think when COVID hit so strong, it sent a lot of humanity into this place of, living with an isolated mindset. And I know for me, it was really hard not seeing people's facial expressions under their masks. And I think we were all just so shell-shocked as well that, some of those social cues and those niceties, it seems like they fell away for a bit of time. And maybe it became a habit for some of us to just get in and out, so to speak. But let's be honest. It was hard to carry on conversations with a mask on and social distancing. So, all of us really struggled through that time period, I believe. But you know what? We're back to normal for the most part, and we have no excuse not to engage, to smile, and to be kind with a hello or, hey, I hope you're having a great day. So I'm going to make a commitment to get back to being that social person I used to be. I'm going to start saying hi or hello, or at least giving a smile to everyone I make eye contact with. And if the opportunity is there, I'm going to engage in some conversation. We were out and about today, my husband and I really had to make a concerted effort to do just that because I've gotten out of the habit of doing it. And I was really quite surprised at all of the people that just look down. They're just looking down or they're looking straight ahead of them and not really even noticing people around them anymore. And that makes me so sad. So I'm making that commitment. Would you like to join me? I wish I could see a raise of hands of everybody that's sitting there thinking, you know what? That's a great idea, Shauna. I think I'll do that too. Just think about the difference we would make if we all adopted that lovely practice. And think of how good it would make you feel and how rewarding it would be at the end of the day if you knew that you had brought even just a ray of happiness into someone's life with just a simple smile or a simple hello. So, all of this idea led me to want to create this episode about smiles. I wanted to explore what it does to the psyche when we smile at others and when we're greeted in such a positive manner. I'm sure we've all heard that smiling can make us seem friendly to others. It can change our mood in an instant, as well as the moods of those around us. I have even read that it can lengthen our lives. So I did some general research, and here are some things I found. But before I go on, I want us all to sit here and give ourselves a big smile. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm smiling at you right now. Are you smiling? If you are, doesn't it feel good? It's no secret that smiling has a number of positive benefits, both on the mind and the body. In fact, did you know that smiling is more effective in stimulating the reward mechanism of our brain than chocolate is? Hey, that's huge. I mean, that means that smiling makes people feel happy. Why is that? What's going on in our brains when we smile? Well, I'm going to be reading to you from a couple of articles today. The first one was an article in Psychology Today written by Ronald E. Riggio. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Ronald writes, each time you smile, you throw a little feel-good party in your brain. Oh my gosh, can you just picture that? A feel-good party in your brain. I love that. How many of us could use a feel-good party? Hey, I could, that's for sure. He goes on to say that smiling activates the release of neuropeptides that work toward fighting off stress. Now, this is a little sciencey for my brain. I'm more of an artsy kind of person, but I'm sure a lot of you are going to be right at home with this. Neuropeptides are tiny little molecules that allow neurons to communicate. They facilitate messaging to the whole body when we are happy, sad, angry, depressed, or excited. The feel-good neurotransmitters called dopamine, endorphins, and serotonin are all released when a smile flashes across your face. This not only relaxes your body, but it can lower your heart rate and blood pressure. Wow. I mean, that's huge, y'all. The endorphins also act as a natural pain reliever, 100% organic, and without any of the potential negative side effects of synthetic concoctions or medications. And finally, the serotonin releases that are brought on by your smile serve as an antidepressant or a mood lifter. Wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I am always amazed at how our brains work. I mean, I can't even begin to understand it all, y'all. But just think about what's going on when all of those neurotransmitters are at work. You know, we are an amazing species, divinely created to be so complex, yet so genuinely beautiful inside and out. There was another article that I read from the BritishCouncil.org, and the writer Dingley writes, so, what is going on in our brains when we smile? Imagine we are in a pleasant situation, like bumping into an old friend on the metro. When our brains feel happy, endorphins are produced, and neurosignals are transmitted to your facial muscles to trigger a smile. This is the start of a positive feedback loop of happiness. When our smiling muscles contract, they fire a signal back to the brain, stimulating our internal reward system, which further increases our level of happy hormones and endorphins. In short, when our brain feels happy, we smile. When we smile, our brain feels happier. I love how she described this. And I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again. I love that positive feedback loop of happiness. I am a super visual person. So I can close my eyes and I can see this whole thing play out in a loop. I also learned that smiling brings many health benefits, like reducing anxiety as well as lowering your blood pressure and your heart rate. So, the next time you're feeling down, I want you to smile. It's such a simple thing that we can do that may actually lift our mood, even if just for a tiny moment. If you've got out of the habit of smiling, you can learn how to genuinely smile again, right? Practice makes perfect. So remember, smiling is an outward representation of an attitude of wellness, love, and acceptance. And I think we could all use a little bit more of this, don't you? Try to think of your smile as a way of bestowing peace and confidence on others. Now, in turn, super interesting fact here, several scientific studies have noticed that when someone smiles at us, the part of our brain that controls feelings of reward is activated. And earlier, there was a sentence that alluded to when somebody smiles at you, it gives you like an internal reward. Do you remember that? So when you smile at someone, you may just be giving them that momentarily lift or reward that they very much need in that moment of time. Let's get back to my observations while I was in Mexico. I do feel like what I experienced was a general attitude of hospitality and welcoming. And it took down any walls I had of apprehension that I had going into the trip. Now, statistically, the emotion that is most associated with smiling is engagement. So doesn't it make sense that I would experience those feelings? That I was being engaged and, welcomed when I was greeted almost every place I went? Remember when I told you earlier that my family always teases me that I can talk to a rock? Well, when I shared with my husband what today's topic was, he started naming off all the random people that he remembered that I had talked to on our trip, from the airport to the plane to the time in Mexico to back home again. I mean, listen, y'all, if you smile at me and look even remotely like you will talk to me, I am probably going to say something to you. And I'm so sorry for those of you who are personal space, stay out of my bubble kind of people. You're okay. You're okay just like you are. But I just want to share with you, when someone comes up to you and you realize they're probably a chatty Cathy like me, please be patient with them and give them a smile, because I can promise you that one small observation will probably absolutely make their day. And then I also want to talk to all you chatty Cathys out there. This is something I've had to learn. When I try to engage somebody and they're not really very engaging back, I don't push the issue with them, because I know and I have to respect that they probably are those kind of stay out of my bubble people. And like I said earlier, that's okay. Each one of us are designed with our own unique personalities. So, I want to respect that as well. Now, I am totally fascinated with the fact that just by smiling, your brain can change so dramatically. And when I was doing all of this research, I was just fascinated by it all and found myself wishing that I was a science person, because I'd love to understand it a little bit better. But, that's not me. And I was just excited about what I did read. So I hope that it's been fun and interesting for you to hear some of these little facts that I ran across when I was doing this research. When I was doing all this Googling, I came across a website that had 108 smile quotes. 108, y'all. That's a lot. And probably doesn't even encompass all the smile quotes that are out there in the world. So I'm going to wrap up with a couple that I really liked. And the first one is from Mother Teresa. And she said, "Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, and a beautiful thing. I want to add that Mother Teresa advocated the connection between smiling and peace with her statement, "Peace begins with a smile." Isn't that beautiful? She was such a precious soul. And I just love that what she said about smiling being a gift to others. And then this last one, oh my gosh, this is so powerful and heartfelt from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Listen to this one, y'all. It's long. "This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, and laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your heart, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, and friendships to brighten your being, faith so that you can believe, and confidence for you when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, and love to complete your life." I loved that. I would love to make that my mission statement. I mean, I just think it's so full of genuine love and caring and compassion. So, as I wrap up, let's all remember that by simply making eye contact and giving a smile, you can totally change that moment in time for another fellow human being. I'm going to post some of the links to some of these pages that I got some of this information on in the description of this podcast. So if you want to dig a little deeper and look at some of the sciencey stuff that I didn't even dare to dig into, feel free to follow these links or do your own research. So until next time, my sweet friends, let's all practice smiling. Hey, thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit follow wherever you get your podcast. And until next time, I hope you live in your space well, my friends.